Hello and welcome back to the channel. This month, it is all about our goal setting series. We're talking about how not to fail in 2025. If you saw my previous video, it was all about the 10 things that will keep us from reaching our goals in 2025. If you haven't saw that video already, I will link it in the description below. Go ahead and check that out. But this video is all about the first 5 of those things on the prescriptive side. So I talked a little bit about in that video that was not a how can we do better on these things. It was more of, let me see what I need to work on so I can diagnose my issue. That was a diagnosis video. This is more a prescriptive video, but I'm only taking the first 5 things. What I noticed, I know for me, is that if we go over too much information all at once, it sounds great. I'm not going to implement any of it because I've forgotten. There's not enough time for me to digest what I have just learned for me to actually execute. So I definitely recommend that don't spend too much time looking at video after video after video. Look at one. It may not even be my video, but look at one video and try to take something out of that video that you're going to move forward with. You're going to take action on. And that's what you'll see in this video. I have the 5 steps we're going to go over, but I have action steps for each one that I talk about. And you can take whichever one that is going to be more beneficial or the most beneficial for you to actually take action on. That is everything that I'm all about. Information is awesome. Action is even better. So let's jump in. Oh, before I jump in, if you've not been to this channel before, my name is Andrea Rose. I create content for single parents to help them reach their goals, help them become financially independent, and overall just provide them the resources they need to traverse this single parent journey. All right, so let's jump right in. Number 1. You have not set any goals because you don't trust yourself to achieve them. I know that is a hard thing to think about and a hard pill to swallow, that you've given up. You've given up on setting goals because you do not trust yourself to achieve them. You feel like this is going to be yet another year where I'm not going to achieve my goals. And I'm here to tell you, and I said it in the last video, when we don't intentionally set goals, we unintentionally set the opposite of those goals, right? So usually we want to set goals for our prosperity. If we don't set goals that lead to prosperity, we're unintentionally setting a goal to lead to scarcity. When we want to set a goal, usually we want to set goals for fulfillment. When we don't intentionally set fulfillment goals, we are unintentionally setting regret goals. That time is going to pass either way, but if we are not intentional on setting our goals, we're going to end up being discontent. We're going to end up being in a situation of scarcity, and we are going to end up regretful of the time that we have yet again wasted. So we don't want to unintentionally set goals. So it's very important that we intentionally set goals. So how can you trust yourself again? That's the question. If I'm going to set goals, okay, that's great. I understand the importance of setting a goal, but how can I make sure that I trust myself again to actually reach the goal this time? So in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, which I have. Atomic Habits, I'm sure you've seen it. I got mine at Target, but you can definitely get it off Amazon. He talks about setting goals so small, and that's why it's called Atomic, right? Setting goals so small that it is incredibly easy for you to achieve them. Incredibly easy for you to achieve them. He talks about setting goals so small that the resistance for you to achieve them is so low that you just go ahead and do it. You just go ahead and do it. So for an example, I think one of the examples he gives in the book is about maybe you have a goal to go to the gym 3 times a week. Today, you're not going at all, but your goal is to start going to the gym 3 times a week. He says, okay, so you break that goal down. So one of the things that you do when you're getting ready to go to the gym is you set out your clothes, you get dressed, you drive to the gym, you're in the gym, right, working out. He says, okay, so with those 4 things that you have to do, start with the first one. So for the very first week, your goal could be just to set out your clothes. Of course, you've already, it was a bird. Anyway, of course, you've already determined which 3 days a week that you want to go. Let's say it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you'll want to set your goals or set your clothes out those 3 times a week. Just setting them out. You're just setting them on the bed. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday for that first week, that's all you're doing. You've reached your goal. That first week, if you set your clothes out Monday, Wednesday, Friday to go to the gym, you've reached your goal. Now, if you decide to go ahead, put them on and go to the gym, that's great. If you don't, you still reached your goal once you set out the clothes. Okay? So the second week, your goal would be to get dressed Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Get dressed to go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's it. That's it. Just get dressed 3 days a week. If you've reached that goal, you've accomplished your goal for that week. Third week, you are setting your clothes out, getting dressed. You're driving to the gym the third week. 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. By the fourth week, you're going in. Even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, what you're doing is creating a habit. In order to be successful, we have to create habits that lead us to success. People talk about having a habit of success. Success doesn't just happen. It happens from the things that we do every single day, the habits that we have that will lead us to a successful outcome. So that's what that book is about. If you have not read it before, it is also on Audible. I know I'm talking to a lot of single parents. We don't have time to read all the time. So it is also on Audible. I absolutely recommend, if you do not have Audible, to download Audible. It may be available on YouTube. Like sometimes full books are available for free on YouTube. So that may be an option for you as well, but that is an excellent book to read. Okay, so that is number 1. The action step for number 1 is to create a SMART goal. So we talked about that. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. That could sound like, let's say you want to write a book. Your SMART goal could be, I will write 500 words 5 days a week for the next 6 weeks to complete the first draft of my book. So you're telling yourself exactly how many words, how often, and what your goal is. But let's say that's a really big goal. If we're going the Atomic Habit route, how about we say we're going to write a sentence a day for the next 2 weeks, right? It's just breaking that goal down to such a small particle, such a small part where you can actually accomplish it. You can actually accomplish it. And once you start building up the habit, once you start accomplishing these small goals, that will help you rebuild the trust in yourself so that you can feel confident that you can reach the goal this time. You can reach the goal this time. So start your goals small, reach them on a consistent basis. I will absolutely put like an alarm or something on my phone just to remind me, write a sentence today. And write it on your phone. Like you don't have to write it with pen and paper. Write it on your phone. I'm just going to write a sentence today. And don't stop yourself if you have the energy, the motivation or whatever to keep going. Keep going. But understand that you have reached your goal when you've just written that one sentence. Okay, so that is number 1. Number 2, you're stuck in the pit of perfectionism. Talked about the pit of perfectionism in my last video. And what it is you resist making progress because you're waiting on everything to be perfect. You're waiting on the perfect timing. You're waiting on the perfect amount of money. You're waiting on the perfect circumstances. You're waiting for that logo to be perfect. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So what we need to do is focus on progress. Progress over perfection 100% of the time. I would have never started this YouTube channel waiting on perfect conditions. Never, ever, ever. I do not have perfect conditions, but you know what? As I looked at other people doing their YouTube, I'm like, they're not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. Let's just do it and get better as we go along. Let's just do it and get better as we go along. A couple of the things that I was researching when I was preparing for this video are the various companies that have changed their logos, changed their slogans, companies change things in their business all the time. People pivot in their careers all the time. If there is a business you want to create and you're stuck on the logo being perfect, stop it. I looked up Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has changed their logo 6 times. 6 times. When they change their logo, do people stop buying Coke? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I mentioned Amazon in my last video. Jeff Bezos started an online bookstore in his garage in 1994. How many people had a computer? How many people were online shopping in 1994? Who wants to start a company out of their garage? Like, if he was waiting for the perfect circumstances, well, let me wait till I get a location. Let me wait till it makes sense for me to start an online bookstore. He didn't do that. Amazon would not be where it is today if he was waiting for the perfect condition. Amazon probably wouldn't exist if he was waiting for the perfect conditions. Someone else would. Someone else will take that spot. So what you're not doing, someone else is thinking about. And so when you start to see your ideas come up in your feed, or a commercial for them, or somebody talking about it on YouTube, don't get mad at that. Don't get mad at that, because they were willing to execute. They were willing to execute on that idea. You could have had that idea first. I can't tell you how many ideas I have had first, or I have had, that I have seen 10 years later. The pillable wallpaper for apartments, yeah, I thought about that when I was living in apartments. That little sign that we can put on the back of our cars to signal, like make messages to people in traffic. Yeah, I thought about that like 10 years ago. But did I execute? No, because, you know, I was waiting for times to be perfect. I was waiting for the information to come to me, I guess. I don't know. I was waiting. And what happened? Somebody else came up with it. Somebody else is doing it. I can't tell you how many ideas I have had that I'm seeing now. So if you are having the same situation, if you are experiencing the same thing, you're seeing your ideas come to life in somebody else's, stop waiting. It's because you're waiting. Times will not be perfect. It is time to make progress. Progress over perfection. Let's move forward. So, what is the action step for this? Look at your goal. Take a look at your goal and determine where in that goal you can make some progress. If you want to start a business, go to your Secretary of State, register your business name. If you want a better job, go update your resume. If you want to write a book, create the outline. Just start small, but make progress. Make some progress. So that is definitely the action step for getting out of the pit of perfectionism. Okay? Number 3, you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan. You have the goal. You know what you want to do. I want to write a book. I want to get a new job. But you don't have a plan on how you're going to get there. I was thinking about this, and my son and I went on a cross-country trip from Middle Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, to the Grand Canyon. Nashville, Tennessee to the Grand Canyon. And we camped along the way. It was a great trip. It was an amazing experience. And a couple of times, even with our GPS, we got lost. However, I couldn't even imagine taking a trip like that with no GPS. I had a plan of where I wanted to go, I knew where I wanted to end up, but had I just relied on the street signs, where some of them are clear, some of them are not, and not having a GPS, I mean, we maybe would have made it there, but it wouldn't have taken, and so it took 2 weeks. We took a week there and a week to come back because we were stopping along the way. I don't know how long it would have taken had we not been using our GPS. So just think about that. If you have a goal, somewhere you want to go, but you don't have a plan on how to get there, you may not make it. One, you may not make it. Two, even if you do make it, it's going to cost you more time, it's going to cost you more money, and it's going to cost you more resources. Time and money are resources. Three, you're going to make more mistakes. You're going to get lost along the way. So that is the importance of having a plan. So let's talk about what the action step is for having this plan. So write down your goals. So of course, we're still starting with the goal. You have to have the goal. That's number one. Have your goal. But break your goal down into smaller steps. If you're not sure where to begin, you can definitely use OpenAI for this. You can use this prompt. That's the action step. And that is number 3, right? Number 4, you don't have an external system of accountability. You don't have an external system of accountability. So we know that accountability means being responsible for our actions. And up to this point, if we're having trouble achieving our goals, that means we've been depending on ourselves to keep ourselves accountable, and it has not been successful. All right. So now we need to look beyond ourselves for that accountability. We need to set up an external system of accountability. And one way we can do that is to look for someone who can be our accountability partner. Look for someone who is also wanting to reach a goal for themselves and they're struggling a little bit. Maybe you guys can team up and hold each other accountable. I would recommend that you guys meet once a week. Maybe 5 to 10 minute phone call is fine. If y'all want to meet up for coffee and talk about your goals, that's fine. But every week is recommended. And the reason I recommend every week is there have been studies done based on the activity level when you're having an accountability session. So if it's every week, the activity level usually spikes right before your meeting. And that makes sense because who wants to show up to an accountability meeting talking about, what have we gotten done over the past week and say, oh, I haven't done anything. No, we don't want to do that. We show up because we've just did something yesterday so we can have something to talk about at this meeting tomorrow. And so that activity level spikes right before the meeting. So if you're meeting every week, what happens? You're getting 4 activity spikes a month. If you're meeting only bi-weekly, you're only having 2. If you're meeting only monthly, it's only 1. So if you're meeting 4 times a week, that is going to give you the best opportunity to make more consistent progress on a weekly basis. So that is the recommendation there. The other thing I would recommend that you track your progress, either in a journal or on your phone digitally, where you can make sure you're seeing what your progress is over the sessions. We've gotten through the first 4. Is this information valuable so far? If it is, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps the channel so much and I appreciate it. We are just getting started here, so feedback is so important. So thank you so much for staying this long. We have one more. That we're going to go over. Number 5, you're surrounded by low achievers or those who do not have aspirations. And I know I mentioned that in the last video, that it could be somebody in your own family. It could be people in your own family that do not have aspirations. And that may be something you heard at the outset of the video, but the first action step to deal with that is to limit your interaction if at all possible. If they're in your own home, of course, that's going to be difficult to nearly impossible. But if they are people that are outside the home that you have to actively engage with, just limit that engagement. Not saying to cut off those relationships, especially if they're family. I don't believe in cutting off relationships with family unless they are toxic, unless they are emotionally detrimental to your mental and emotional health. But you definitely can limit your interaction with those individuals if it's not that bad. If it's not that bad, I would just say limit your interaction. Let's say that's not possible. What we want to do in both of these situations, if you're able to limit your interaction, great. If you're not, just move to the next step. We want to start infusing people that do have higher motivation, higher aspirations, higher energy, more positive. You want to start infusing those type of people into your lives. And the ways you can do that are numerous. So one, you can watch YouTube videos of people talking about positivity and goal achievement and all these things. You can start watching a lot of YouTube videos of people who are talking about the things that you want to accomplish, who have accomplished the things that you want to accomplish. So that's one way. Another way, you can look on Meetup. You can have meetups. You can look for local networking opportunities. You can read books. You can get on Facebook groups. There are so many different ways to start infusing positivity in your life that you just need to take the time to do it. This is something that is absolutely important for you. This is something you need. And if you want to be successful in accomplishing your goals and reaching your goals, this is something you absolutely want to make sure you do for yourself. I talk about these things because I've used them. These steps, I have actually used every single one of them to help me to accomplish the goals that I've set for myself. I have created my own business. I started this YouTube channel. I hosted my own natural hair show in Nashville, Tennessee. I was really excited about that. I hosted a total of 3 of them before the pandemic. And I'm thinking about starting to do that again, but we'll see where that takes us. But I have started my own real estate business. I started my own Airbnb business. I authored my own book. I'm so excited. This was the copy that they sent so that I could confirm how the layout was of the book. I think I want a bigger book, but this was what they sent. But I just wanted to show that you can do whatever you want to do. You can reach your goals. I was able to progress in my career. Started from the help desk and became a project manager within a year. Once you have a clear idea of your goals and you have the action steps that you can take to get there, you're unstoppable. You can be unstoppable. We are so powerful, we don't even realize it. We are all so talented and so gifted, and we're unstoppable. We are powerful as human beings. That is the gift we have been given, is our power. And unless we realize it, we're not, it's going to be a life wasted. And I don't want that for you. I want you to accomplish your goals in 2025. I want this to be the year for you. I absolutely and honestly want that for you. And I encourage you to watch the video again. Look through each of the action steps so that you can determine which one you want to work on. And tell me in the comments below, which action step are you going to work on? Which one do you think you can honestly do in this next month before the end of January so that you can get on the road to reaching your goals? All right, so this was part 1. Part 2 is coming, where I talk about the rest of those things, 6 through 10, on how we can reach our goals. And this is a part of our goal achievement series for January. All right, until the next one, bye.